The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It's me, John Walker.
Hey, real quick, I just want to start this off, man.
Yeah.
John Walker. I felt for him, man. I feel for him. That's all I'm going to say.
Do you need to talk to John Walker?
I don't need to talk to him. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's a piece of shit, you know. But I mean, like, definitely his motivations and like the character work in the show, dude. It's very, very well done.
Well, let's break down this episode. This is episode 5. This is the biggest episode of the entire show. Probably the biggest episode of the maybe Disney Plus Marvel series that have happened so far.
60
super
minutes.
Emotional.
Well, super emotional. It's 60 minutes, and we'll cover this. I'm sure it has a post-credit scene.
It does have a post-credit scene, which I did not catch until later on after I'd finished a ton of stuff, like hours into the day. But let's start by it cuts right after John Walker decides to off the kid that loved him so much. He's sprinting into a warehouse, hiding, shaking, visibly just completely out of it. And
rage, man.
And yeah, shaking, right, holding it. And it's like, my best friend just died. And yeah, you do feel for him in that sense because he lost control. And that's exactly what Sam says when Sam and Bucky show up. And they say basically like, look, maybe we can give you some type of like, it's over, essentially. Like, we're done. Give us the shield. If because of your veteran status or because of your awards, maybe we can give you some clemency. We can help you with something. But not until you give up what you have, because you just did something really bad. And then as soon as Sam says, give me the shield, what does our John Walker do?
You know, he becomes very, very defensive, and he tries to take on 2 guys.
Three guys, one shield.
Yeah, I want to say, dude, I was very nervous during the scene because he actually puts up a very good fight where there were moments where I was like, yo,
oh, he's just using that shield as a hammer at this point. He is no longer really using it as a shield. He's like, can I chop everyone?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much trying to pull the same move that he was trying to do on a Superfan, right? From the last episode, and he kicks a lot of ass. There's a scene like when they're fighting, and he kicks Bucky into like this thing, and Bucky's arm starts convulsing and like
smacks into an electric spark, and then it basically triggers. Like, this Wakandan tech really isn't the best for Bucky, it seems like. The other arms seem to have been doing really well, aside from when it was ripped off in Civil War. This one, it's like anyone can disable it with a couple swipes and a ... And then it can get shocked if someone tases it a little bit, or like a power line hits it. I don't know, man. But anyways, Bucky is delighted to have this out with John Walker. He's like, I'm excited to fight you. And they have their big fight. John Walker rips Falcon's wings off of him. And it ends with basically just a takedown, both sides, taking him out exactly like Civil War, which, if you notice, the music was paying tribute to that with the Civil War music.
I did notice that, actually. And I think I messaged you after I got done with the episode. I'm like, yo, this fight scene makes me want to go see a chiropractor. And it made me question if superheroes go see chiropractors.
Yes. Oh, well, he's straight up. You know what we didn't do? I'm so sorry, everybody. And me and Nat were just talking about how much we hate this. We never do spoil. We always do it at the right time, but this time we didn't. So I apologize if you haven't had a chance to see the newest Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're talking spoilers with this. Of course we are. Because it's I don't know. The next week is the next episode. I want to continuously talk about this. You know what I'm saying, Chaz?
Then is it the week after that is Loki?
Yep. After that's Loki.
And then also, this is
is it What If? It's Marvel's What If series.
Well, no, there's also the Bad Batch, which is a Star Wars series.
Bad Batch. Yep, that's also in there.
Or movie. I don't know, but yeah.
But we're getting off track. Where are we at?
So they do like a double takedown, which felt very much like a
breaks his arm, breaks Walker's arm completely.
Yeah, because they get the shield from him, and they do a double.
Bucky gets the shield, walks up to Sam, drops it right next to him.
Yeah,
and then here, as Sam wipes the blood off of the shield.
Yeah, dude, and like they use the shield in their double tag team takedown, which is very much like a shit you know.
It's what every fan wanted. Let's all be honest.
It was satisfying. It was very satisfying, and the fact they started the episode with such like an intense fight scene, definitely drew me in, man. I was very much into it throughout this whole episode.
Yeah. Well, and John Walker's character will return, but from here you have Bucky splits off to kind of deal with Zemo. You think that he's about to shoot Zemo when the Dora Milaje show up behind him, take him, and Bucky essentially is asking for a favor to them at that point. While that's happening, Sam decides, well, he doesn't really decide because the government takes over. Everybody's taking over the entire case. He's basically off of it. So he's returning back to New Orleans to his sister to help with selling the boat, to renovate it. And there's some really, really great moments between them and dialogue involving like what his parents had done for the community and what a community can do to bring people together, and how you can basically rely on a community if you're able to give and take and do the necessary things to be part of a group of people helping each other. And it was really, that's the stuff that makes this series so unique. Like we have all the Marvel punchy, right? But it's the stuff when they go down to New Orleans, when they're talking to because I completely missed a point. He goes back. Point. Yeah. Here you go. Wait, hold on. Are you going to talk about how he goes back to the Black Captain America?
Okay, there's a scene before that even.
Okay, say.
Okay, John Walker gets stripped of his Captain America rights. Like they say you have to turn over the shield.
Okay, so that happens before.
Yes, it does. Because he has a shield still, and then he goes to New Orleans.
Well, he goes to the capital or whatever, and they're like, "Yep, we're taking your shield, and you're no longer American." And he's like, "People just don't understand how hard it is to be Captain America."
And he tries to defend it. He does this whole spiel, which I thought was very emotional. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like they should.
He lost his best friend.
He lost his best friend, and I feel like they should have heard him out just because, like, number one, he's addicted to the serum, right? I mean, that's what it feels like. Withdrawals is what he's going through, right? Which is very much like the U.S. soldiers now, going through PTSD and all this stuff, and how they don't have the help for it, and how in the show the government pretty much says, "Fuck you, give us the shield." Like that. I mean, that's all it is, right? And like it's those moments where you're like, dude, John Walker, like I feel for you, but you're an asshole. But like I definitely get where you're coming from, and
I do too. I really do feel for him as well. I sympathize with him.
And then the scene after that, where we have a cameo.
We have a reveal of a new character that is, I think, going to be playing a very important role later on because she's involved with a group that I won't spoil that because that's going to be for future films. But
spoil it. Everybody's covering it. Just spoil it.
No, well, okay. Julia Louis-Dreyfus appears out of the courtroom and basically tells John Walker everything he's always wanted to hear. You were great as Captain America. You deserve that shield. They shouldn't have taken it from you. You should have killed those people. I think you were right in every decision that you possibly made. I want to suck your like she just went all out for it and basically said, if you ever want to get back into that kind of business, let me know. I am so happy that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in the MCU because you've watched Veep. You know how sinister Selena Meyer was, how cutthroat she could be. Imagine her being an anti-Nick Fury, recruiting her own version of Avengers, evil Avengers, dude. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, but then here's the thing. So coming from a non-fan, right? I didn't know who she was. I had to look her up, and Twitter actually spoiled it for me, by the way. So if you're on Twitter and you get it spoiled for you, sucks to suck.
Well, tell everybody what it is, since we're hiding it.
Here's the thing. It turns out this character was supposed to play a cameo in the Black Widow movie.
No, she will be in Black Widow.
Black Widow was supposed to come out last year. That's what I'm supposed. Yes. That's why I'm saying it seems really reversed. And to me, I'm like, okay, I don't understand who this character is. I feel like she'd be better set up in Black Widow, and I feel like it would be more impactful if it actually followed chronological order. But because of COVID, I don't blame it because of COVID. I mean,
you can't ding it because of COVID. I know, but it does seem like you maybe should already be a little familiar with her when she shows up.
Yeah, and that's where I'm coming from too. Is like, because with my criticism with WandaVision is like, if you don't know the lore, it seems like a middle finger to those who don't know the comic book lore, right? This is this Falcon and the Winter Soldier seems like it has done a pretty good job to include everybody into it, except for that one part where it does seem like a WandaVision moment where you should know who she is, and a lot of the comic book fans caught on to that. But as somebody who is not a comic book reader, it kind of seemed like standoffish, and I was like, okay, I guess. But I it makes me curious to see how they utilize her in Black Widow. So I mean, there is that counterpoint to that of like,
I think she's going to be recruiting people. I think Taskmaster might be recruited by her in the end or something.
Yeah. So that's my major criticism of this episode was that one scene. But I get it, and if there's a huge payoff to it with Black Widow, by all means, it's forgiven.
But moving into the next bit, is this where they go to New Orleans from here?
Yes, because Sam Wilson gets the shield from the government, and he goes.
No, he always had the shield. The government never even had it to begin with. And Selena and Julia Louis-Dreyfus makes it a point to be like, it never really was theirs legally to begin with.
Right.
Sam took it in the end after the fight. So he has the shield. He's back in New Orleans, and simultaneously Bucky is meeting with the Wakandans and doing his thing. Bucky meets up with Sam. He's got this thing that he brought from Wakanda. He's like, this is made by the Wakandans. It's for you. And he's like, I'm not opening that because that's next episode, Bucky. And then and then basically Sam enlists the community to help them get in tools, parts, help rebuild the ship. And Bucky and him start to kind of have a bond. And I really like the bond. And it sets up this interesting character dynamic where Bucky smiling was creepy at first, right? We're just like, oh, whoa, that's new. Why are you smiling so much?
No, I feel for him. I'm like, dude, this is the new Bucky. This is the new
sister.
Yeah, well, and Sam explicitly says, if you hit on my sister, you're a dead man. I mean, that's what he says.
It wasn't like she was saying don't,
right? And then there's the scene where
she kind of let it happen. She was like, all right.
Yeah, she's like,
it was cute. I liked it.
What are they fixing? Like an engine, no, water pump. They're fixing a water pump, and she's like, that doesn't go there. And then Bucky's like, I told you, Sam, and he's like, hey, it's like, oh, are they setting something up?
Yep. I love the part where they're twisting a knob, right? Yeah. And then Bucky actually gets a wrench to twist it. And once he's done, Sam's like, why didn't you just use your metal arm? And Bucky's like, sometimes it doesn't come to me that I should use it. And I'm right-handed. And that was like one of the best jokes. I loved that so much. Totally showed the progression of Bucky where he can actually like make some jokes and talk about it.
Yeah.
I had Indian food just before this, and it's like still caught my throat a little bit. It's so hot.
Heartburn?
No, it's just hot, like right here, right in the middle of the throat.
Dude, I want Indian food. Don't tempt me.
It's so good, dude. I have some down here.
Stop.
Uh-oh. It's a sin to eat while you're doing the podcast. No. No, that's some ASMR for everybody.
Not during COVID.
ASMR, anyone?
This is another porn video.
All right. Well, okay. I'm sorry, everybody. Anyways, it gets progressively hotter. So I mean, I'll eat it if it's for the views,
Yeah. So after they're fixing up the boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's before or after, but eventually Sam and his sister do come to a conclusion not to sell the boat because that was his sister's motivation from like the episode 1 was to sell the boat to move on with the family. And it seems like after watching her and Bucky work so hard on the boat, there's this recognition that this is our family. This is where we came from. This is how we got to where we are, And yeah. I very much appreciated that kind of sibling conversation, like the rawness of that for Sam, especially just because in this episode, he is struggling because like the second episode and the third episode was kind of Bucky's story. But I feel like the fourth and fifth has been Sam's story, especially at the end of this, right? Is definitely Sam's calling essentially. And it's kind of nice to see the rawness of Sam get it all off his chest, And then eventually, he starts training with Bucky with the shield, throwing it to trees, whatever. Like
Oh no, you're skipping. We're still skipping going to Black Captain America. And please,
dude, that was way before the ship. That was before the ship even.
Then why haven't we talked about it yet?
I don't know. I was trying to get into it. I'm like, they go to Louisiana.
That's your
and
fault.
You skip right over it. No,
That's
it's
your
not.
fault.
He goes to Louisiana to speak with his grandfather, right?
Okay. He goes back. He goes back to speak with the old man that was tested on, and we learn more about that. We learn more about what happened to him, why he was put in prison, which is tragic. Basically, him helping his soldier friends to escape, and them treating him like a criminal and experimenting on him for years, and him having so many poignant lines with him being like, no good black person would want this shield, and it's because of what it means, like what it represents and what has happened, and he would never want it at this point. But when he was describing what had happened to him in Vietnam, all I can think about is, God, I want this so much as a series or a movie or something. We need to watch that. It would be so good.
Dude, what sold me on that too was when it's kind of relevant to now, right? Like when you join the army or military, from my understanding, because I have not, but like they give you so many shots, like so many vaccinations, if you will, right? Yeah. That now, I mean, especially with COVID, how there's a lot of military personnel not getting that, which is kind of like, well, you guys get poked with a lot of other stuff, right? This guy specifically says, they told us it was tetanus that we were getting poked with, and it turned out to be something completely else. And so they don't even know what they were being injected with.
We hear so many conspiracy theories about this stuff, like Russian conspiracy theories, and like, I don't know. Have you gone down YouTube trails of that kind of stuff, like hidden experiments that people had signed up for, that things went horribly wrong, and then they completely hid it from the public so that nobody knew what would happen, or like redacted government records and stuff like that. This is very much up that alley. Like, Alex Jones would love this show. It's a weird thing to say, but it's also true. You froze completely. Where'd Jay go? Where'd everyone go? Are you here, Jay? What happened? Here. Chaz disappeared.
He did.
Oh, well, that's fun.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Welcome,
everybody. Hi, everybody.
Well, Jay, while you're here, we're going to take Chaz out so he can go ahead and sign back out in the back end. Jay, I want to talk to you about what you think about this. First of all, what we've talked about so far, and with this critical scene.
This scene here was actually a really great. As a matter of fact, the whole episode as a whole was directed very well. I just want to point that out. Mm-hmm. As I was watching it, because I watched it at 0 Dark 30, man. It was right when it dropped. And when I'm laying in the bed and I'm watching this, and I'm watching this scene and hearing everything that Isaiah is saying, he's saying that he wasn't the only one. Mm-hmm. There were more of them. And it seemed like a small squad or small platoon. Mm-hmm. And to hear that, to see that he's the only one that survived and everything that he went through. One, I'm happy he didn't kick Sam out of the house again.
Yeah, right. Like Sam came in with like lots of questions that are like, whoa, right. He came in hot.
I think what this scene sets up is the defining moment for Sam that Steve chose me to do this, and I need to know a little bit more history. Like, I didn't even know that there was a black super soldier, and I'm might be sure that not even Steve Rogers knew that there, you know what I mean? So he's trying to get a little bit more history into what's going on and what could possibly happen to him have he donned the shield. He's trying to weigh his options, and I think that's what was really set up in this scene.
And I remember that moment where he says, Steve Rogers did not put you away. Like, to make sure that, like, we know where the blame is placed on this. It's certainly not with Steve Rogers, who did not know what was happening, and is certainly just as much like he volunteered for it, so he's not as much a victim of what was happening, but he did go part of the program. And it's really interesting to see how they have kind of sewn this storyline into Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it really illustrates in this episode to Bucky why Sam hasn't taken the shield, and he finally gets it. He looks at him and he goes, "Look, I could get why nobody would want that," and he explains for his reasoning. Seeing Sam move that shield and put it away and take it away felt like it was taking away his identity in a sense. The identity of Captain America is tied in with him and the Notebook. And it gets revealed that in Endgame, Captain America did tell Bucky what his plan was and gave him the Notebook.
Right. Absolutely.
Which we didn't know. We didn't know that for sure. We only thought that it was going to be through that, like, he just kind of instinctively knew. Like he's like nodded in the woods.
Right. So that's why I was just like, wow, this scene here really hit me. And throughout this whole episode, now that I'm actually on here and we're waiting on Chaz to get back, I actually teared up a little bit because it gave me that in-game feeling when Steve Rogers gave Sam Wilson the shield to begin with. Yes. I didn't cry when Iron Man died. I cried when the shield was handed over to Falcon, and because to me that was such a pivotal moment. You know, like, we have a Black Captain America now. You know, especially in a time where Black lives are always in jeopardy at some point in time in the future, or whatever the case may be to certain individuals. And now we're in the era where it's not just happening to Black lives, but it's happening to Asian lives and so forth and so forth. The premise behind this episode definitely couldn't have come, honestly, at a better time. Absolutely. To send these messages. I was very touched with the meeting with Isaiah. I was very touched with everything that Sam was going through with his family and the bond that he has with his sister and his nephews. Especially the great chemistry that Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie already have off screen. They were able to kind of bring that in screen, and I was very moved. And
you start to see the bond with them, though, right, Jay? You start to see when they're tossing the shields back and forth. It kind of feels like father and son playing catch, because Bucky's, like, obviously so much older than Sam. There's a little bit of wisdom there, but there's also a little bit of bonding. And you can't give away a Wakandan wish to somebody that isn't your friend. You know, you wouldn't do that if they weren't your friend. And he got, I don't know what do you think is in there, Jay? Do you think it's just wings, or do you think he has a whole new Wakandan suit? Do you think it's like sneakers he can put on and it just suits up everything and he's good?
Right. Like, I think it's actually everything that he would need for him to kind of do him, you know, like.
Do you see the vibranium tech like Chadwick Boseman's, though? Like that type.
Like that is a very small possibility. I was thinking something along the lines of like Captain Marvel, even, you know, like the whole, you know, you have a suit now, so here, you know,
or Falcon's comic book accurate Captain America transition,
comic book look. Now, not to mention, like, his old outfit does kind of resemble what's the word I'm looking for?
Resemble a little bit.
Yeah, resemble the look a little bit in a more modern age. Maybe in this, you know, in the comic books, you see him with the wings and stuff like that. It actually used to be an old Facebook photo of mine, and when I read that comic, I actually cried when that happened too.
Oh wow!
So because to me, that I have Captain America on my wall for a reason, and it literally is, to me, he is up there with Batman. I'm not going to say he's as good as Batman, because Batman is still just a man. But when you come to Captain America, Steve Rogers, there's just something about him, like, he's always sticking up for the little guy, no matter what's going on. You saw it in Endgame, well, actually, Infinity War. The look on his face as Thanos was coming in with that hand, you see what he's truly trying to protect, and that shield, like he said before in previous episodes and in the trailers, that shield means something to a lot of people, including the one who fell to John Walker in the last episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Man, I gotta tell you, man, I really enjoyed. Honestly, I enjoyed this more than WandaVision.
You know, Nat said that too. But let's keep going with this. Chaz will come in eventually. I think me and you will steer this one out, and then we'll vamp until we get to Chaz's segment. He just dipped, right? I think his screen froze, and then he came out, so he's probably just restarting his screen.
He said he's restarting his computer.
Good for him. Well, thanks a lot. We all love Chaz, but we love him.
We're having technical difficulties, and this time it isn't by me.
Yeah, right. So anyway, Bucky and Falcon, they finally have that kind of meeting. There is one important scene I want to mention, though. Bucky is waking up and he sees Sam's nephews playing with the shield. I feel like this is so important for two important reasons. Number one, because he's seeing that there is lineage to the legacy, right? That there's lineage to the legacy, that it can still be passed down to other generations, and that the legacy isn't tarnished. That what happened with John Walker didn't take away what Steve Rogers built. You cannot take that away, and you can't separate that from the shield.
Right. When the shield is donned by an individual, the way I'm perceiving it to be in the MCU, how would you even say that? DC, MCD.
It's MCU
plus MCU. Disney
it's MCU.
Plus, so
no, because it's all connected now. They call it all the MCU now.
All right. So whoever's donning the shield, whether it be Sam, Bucky, Walker, or Rogers, it's the character of the person holding the shield. Mm-hmm. I think if they were going to do something like that, they should have had, especially for John Walker, it's just like having a gun. You have to go through all these extensive things just to qualify. And yeah, he might have, but did they really do it psychologically? Mm-hmm. Did they know that he was still there? Like, things didn't start going down for John Walker until episode 3, really.
Yeah,
if we can be honest, and it comes up from there. But I think my time is up, because there's still one person who needs to actually say something on this topic. And
welcome, he finally made it back. That's so good. Thank you.
Here's the thing. I think whenever my computer freezes, I think I need to upgrade my graphics card. So that's a thing that I need to do. And then I had difficulties figuring out my audio stuff because
welcome back, Chaz. Jay, before you go, any final thoughts on this episode?
Oh man, Jay's final thoughts on this episode. By far the best episode that we've seen in this series is definitely episode 5. It might change next week, because we have episode 6, and that's the last episode. So
we do. Big things are coming with that. Well, we just have one more part of this, right? Because he does his training montage with the shield, which looks like it will literally rip his head off at any time. I love the way that feels. I love that suddenly he knows how to do flippies. That was so much fun to see the flippies.
Well, think about it this way: when he's doing those little, the parkour flips and stuff like that, he's just doing it without his wings. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So having not have his wings. Oh, and you know what? Let's bring that up real quick, because you got to remember the wings were broken by John Walker, and remember the I forgot what his name was, the soldier that was there with Sam as he was debriefing. Hey, you're forgetting your wings. He's like, keep them.
Yeah.
Like he.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Like he didn't need it. That actually sets up something from the comic book, where he actually might be a potential partner of Sam.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. So that's cool. I didn't know that. That's a fun fact.
But that's my final take on it. That's just that, that's just one man's opinion and how I feel. I mean, it was definitely a great episode. I can't wait for next week, and I really don't want this series to end with 6 episodes. I wish they would have did like maybe 10.
Oh, but I'm loving the 50-minute, 60-minute run times.
Right. I am. Oh, my final thoughts at the end credit.
You have given 3 final thoughts.
Yeah, I know. I know, but
hold on. Let Chaz break down what the mid-credit scene, and we'll all give our final thoughts from there.
Fair enough.
We see John Walker making a shield.
Which, okay. That's the stupidest thing. It's only stupid for one reason. Did he get vibranium? Because if he didn't get vibranium, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like making a cardboard shield.
Oh, show them.
I don't know, dude. My question is, does he need the shield because he's a super soldier, right?
I'm gonna make my own shield.
No, actually, the shield, he essentially becomes the U.S. agent.
Yeah, he's U.S. agent at this point.
He's U.S. agent at this point. So for him to actually have his own shield,
but is it vibranium, Jay? Do we know?
No, it's war metals.
No, it's not. It's pure metal because he wouldn't be able to melt. There's a certain melting point, and he wouldn't.
That's what I thought. So this thing is stupid.
No. Here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. Captain America, we saw him fight without a shield a lot of times, right?
But then why?
Hold on. Hold on. He was a super soldier, right?
Yeah.
John Walker is a super soldier. He doesn't need the shield. The shield was literally just a symbol of Captain America. It's not.
That's not why he's making a shield.
Hold on. Here's the thing, though. Sam Walker or Wilson is not a super soldier. He needs that shield. That shield to him not only means his friendship with Captain America or the symbol of Captain America, but it's also for his own protection, right? He's not a super soldier like John Walker or Bucky or Captain America.
This is true.
And so I think John Walker making a shield is him trying to be Captain America, but it's not going to be Captain America. We all know who
you don't think he's going to use it as a weapon, Chaz?
He's going to use it as a weapon.
He's going just for show.
No, he's going to use it as a weapon for sure, but like he doesn't need it, right? I mean, that's what you're probably saying.
Why is he? I'm against you.
Because here's the thing.
No. He's gonna use it. He made it to use it, not for the symbol.
Right. But here's
he wants a shield.
Exactly. But he used this serum thinking it would make him Captain America. He thinks the shield makes him Captain America. He doesn't realize the serum is what made Captain America. That's the difference. Captain America knew how to use the serum. John Walker does not. That's the key difference between the two.
I disagree. He says he's John Walker without the shield. He's Captain America without the shield. He believes it through and through, with or without the shield.
But we have never seen him without the shield.
That's his weapon. That's the status that he wants.
No,
he's not doing it to use it as a status. He's using it because he wants the weapon.
No, dude, he's literally using it as a status.
Oh, really? Then how come he flipped out the minute that Falcon wanted the shield?
Why would he not give up the shield? Let's ask that real question.
Because he wants the weapon. He literally
because
just
it's a symbol. It's a symbol to him, dude.
It's
a symbol to him.
He
is the Captain America.
Agree with Chaz on this one. He actually does it, and Patrick.
I haven't seen anything. I love your comments. You've totally detensed me. I almost rammed into Chaz. I almost railed into him. I was so close to attacking him.
Like, Chaz, I hope your fucking internet goes out again.
I hope you.
You actually had me there. I was like, wait, what?
Okay, what were your final thoughts? Fucking Chaz.
Is Jay frozen? I can't tell if Jay's frozen.
No, I'm not frozen.
No, he's not.
We're gonna do this.
Dude, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? No. Here's the thing. I liked this episode. I know I messaged you earlier this morning before I even watched the episode saying, dude, that cameo was dumb because.
And you're dumb for thinking that.
I didn't watch the episode. I know. After watching the episode, my opinion on that has kind of come down, right? I'm
it's such a little thing. It's such a little thing to be upset about. It is. They go right past.
And it's because articles were like, oh my god, there's gonna be a huge cameo, right? It's because it was so over exposed.
Well, don't blame. I know. Don't blame the. Yeah.
No, and so, dude, here's the thing. I liked it. That first fight sequence was so badass. That double team with the shield at the end, knocking John Walker out. Holy shit, dude. I was like, am I watching a WWE fight? I hate WWE. I'm not a wrestling fan at all, but like, this is fun. And I really wish more humor would be into it in the sense that they'd throw in a chiropractor being like, dude, you got to give up. Like, you can't keep popping your back this way, you know?
No, I don't want to cut to that. Those are your final thoughts. I'm cutting yours out. You're going to chiropractor talk. I think this was the strongest of the entire show so far. I really, really enjoyed it. So everybody comment down below. Let us know what you think. And let's move over to our next segment.